Okay guys, so if you want to squeeze the most out of your PVS-14 in conjunction with your rifle, listen up. We're going to be talking about passive aiming. Now, passive aiming is a targeting method for using your PVS-14 in conjunction with optics you already have mounted to your rifle, be that a red dot or a magnified rifle scope. Why would you want to use passive aiming over other types of aiming systems, such as a laser or flashlights? Lasers and flashlights are wonderful in close-in engagements where you're decisively engaged, meaning you're going to take the enemy out or you're not going to survive. However, when you're in another type of situation, let's call it skirmishing, where you have distance, standoff distance, where you can easily break contact and you're not committed to winning that fight, passive aiming is the way to go. I've seen it time and time again where in a skirmishing situation a person uses an active targeting method such as a laser or a flashlight, and immediately the enemy sees that targeting attempt and goes to ground and neutralizes that capability. Furthermore, after committing to that engagement by signaling the attempt at targeting, you are also sending information both ways. So the enemy also knows where you are, and when they go to ground, they can actually start maneuvering on that last known position that you attempted to target them from. So there are risks associated with an active targeting system that passive aiming doesn't have. So you can more freely use it in an ambush situation or, like I said, in a skirmishing type environment. So let's talk about some of those systems. So first, your red dot. This is the most conventional system as well. The main thing you need to look for is a like Aimpoint brand or Trigicon or some of those higher end name brands. The problems with some of the lower end stuff like the Holosuns is they just don't go dim enough. So they're actually too bright to be used in conjunction with your PVS-14, and it casts too much light around the target, so you can't really get a good bead on your quarry. With the higher end systems, you can actually dim it down to where the reticule doesn't mask your target, and that's what you're going to want. With the rifle scopes, you can in fact use a rifle scope, conventional, 3x9 rifle scope, nothing fancy. You don't need any clip-ons or any kind of additional hardware. You just need to know how to make this work in conjunction with this. So I normally like to run around with my PVS-14 focused on infinity. So I go look at the stars and I focus on that, and that gives me the best field of range. Yeah, sure, stuff a little close in looks a little fuzzy to me, but I learned to, for the most part, make do with that because I want to see targets as clear as possible at the furthest possible distance. So that's how I set my focus on my PVS-14. Now, with the rifle scopes, you have a diopter, and what this is this is your ocular focus. So for most applications, if you're not using a PVS-14, what you're going to do is you're just going to, look at a target and you're just going to adjust this in and out to where the reticule is in nice, sharp, crisp focus to the target, right? So, and that's kind of a set and forget thing. Maybe you throw on glasses, you don't have to adjust this, or you let a buddy use this rifle and he'll have to adjust it for his eye, and that's it, and that's done. Now, how this changes is when you're using a PVS-14 and you have the focus set at infinity, right? This is actually focused something like way closer when your normal eye is working through it. But with the 14, your focus is actually different. So you'll have to actually adjust this out a little bit in order for you to see through here clearly. Once that's set, you can just raise your rifle up like you're normally using it and engage targets at distance. Now, caveat, it is going to be a little bit dimmer. Every time you go through a piece of glass, that's going to diminish the light gathering capability, on and on and on and on. So with a lot of these scopes out there, you'll have ones with really small objective lenses, and that's going to hurt you because it won't be able to gather in enough light for you to be able to effectively see your target at night. And you know, as you get under heavy tree canopy, you have overcast skies, you know, maybe not so great moonlight out there, maybe it's hidden. You're going to need to gather in as much light as possible. So you're going to be wanting to look for a very large objective lens. And then you're generally going to want to run on the lowest magnification. Lowest magnification is important because as you increase magnification, your exit pupil size is going to be diminished. But when you're using this, you're going to want as large an exit pupil as you could possibly get, so it can in turn have the least amount of interference in being able to see through your scope tube. So what this is actually a piece of optics that is actually made for a PVS 14. It gives you a straight 3x magnification, and how this is made is it's either made to slip over your into your PVS 14 or actually thread in there. So this is basically just a fixed type of setup, and this is mainly for just observing the enemy, not really for any kind of targeting methodology. Maybe you can use this in conjunction with your Aimpoint or other red dot device, kind of similar to a flip to side magnifier. But for me and my purposes, I like to be able to immediately switch between being able to walk around and observe and maneuver and being able to target. So I'm not locked into one methodology or another. So with all that being said, how do some of these higher end optics such as the Trijicon ACOGs work out? I don't know what kind of magic they're doing to not necessitate a diopter on the rear in order to adjust it for your night vision device or your own eye, but it just works. Now here's the problem. The Trijicon tritium element in there is just too bright for a night vision device to actually be used effectively in conjunction. Now over time what's going to happen is the half-life of that tritium element is going to degrade and degrade and degrade and degrade. And over time it'll become more and more useful actually. But unfortunately, I mean, this is one from the 1990s and it's still way too bright for me to be using in conjunction in my 14. So if, you know, I think Trijicon has some electronic ones now, and if I was going to be looking at one of these in the future, that's what I'd be looking at, is one of those electronic ones where you can turn off the reticule brightness altogether and just use it like a conventional rifle scope. I'd be very interested in seeing how that would perform in the field.
Hey guys, so the night vision topic is obviously something I'm very interested and passionate about. I've been messing around with night vision since about 2014 in the field and just at home here. So if you guys are interested in hearing my little rants about it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Small Team Supply, out.